Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Ask Mary Anything Within Reason. What is there to say? I'm not even sure anymore. Yeah, so apparently after begging Donald to meet with them and his saying no, he's not going to meet with the minority radical left Democrats. They're meeting, even though it is quite frankly obscene to me that the Democrats are going to try to negotiate with these fascists. How well did that work out for them last time? Remember back in March? Pete Hegseth has ordered every single top military man, generals, admirals from all over the world, ordered them to be in DC tomorrow. So I guess he can lecture them about something. Seems like a brilliant use of our resources and probably not the safest thing to do. But what do I know? Oh, a lot more than Pete Hegseth. I think, what's his name is also gonna make an appearance, and I think in addition to lecturing them about appearance and physical fitness, which is rich coming from Pete Hegseth. Have you ever seen him try to do a push-up? Mm. Uh, Donald is also probably gonna try to get them to sign some kind of loyalty oath. I don't know. Yeah, so if, the meeting with if Schumer and Jeffries can have a spine, the government will almost certainly close on Tuesday, which quite frankly at this point is as it should be because this keeping this government open is dangerous. It is much more dangerous than shutting it down. And that's what we've been saying for a long time. We need to shut all of this down. But you are not here to listen to me rant. No, you are here for me to answer your questions and read your comments. So let's do that. My hair is all uneven. Okay. Patricia, thank you so much, Patricia. Comment from Archie and Salem the Cats because our human loves your shows. Oh, thanks, guys. And this human loves the cats. Johnny, question. Do you think the generals have discussed plans to thwart any illegal order that Hegseth or Donald will give them, or will they be told pledge personal fealty? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they were asked to pledge personal fealty. What I would like to see, however, is that to a person they stand up and leave. Because yes, there's I don't know what the military code is specifically, but you must refuse to follow an illegal order. It's right there. That's not that is not insubordination. It's the right thing to do. It is you are following your oath if you refuse to follow an illegal order. So Donald has said he's deploying military to Portland for reasons I don't begin to understand. I mean, I understand, but I don't even know what his fake rationale is. If a soldier is ordered to do that, the soldier must say, no, I cannot, because that is in violation of posse comitatus. Right there in the Constitution. If only things were that easy. Sandra Lee, question. What event, if any, prompted you to become a vegetarian? Well, it was a long process, but the first thing, because I was a carnivore. I ate basically everything except duck because I didn't like it, and lamb because lamb. Right. So my favorite food, or one of my favorite foods anyway, was veal, but I didn't know what it was. So when I was 18, I found out. No, maybe I was older. Yeah, well, I was 20. When I was 20, I found out what veal was, and I never ate it again. And then I just stopped eating red meat, and then I never ate much pork, so that was easy. And then when I was in my mid-20s, I stopped eating chicken, and the last thing was seafood. And yeah, it's been a couple of decades. But I stopped eating red meat and pork and chicken, over 30 years ago. I highly encourage everybody to do that. Susan, question. You've described your upbringing in a family where kindness was often seen as weakness. How did you learn to overcome that negative messaging and embrace kindness as a strength? Hmm. Well, I think I had a very big advantage. It's gonna sound weird, but um, nobody in okay, that's overstating a bit, but like it in terms of my father's family, like nobody in my father's I mean, I'm not including my father, but like nobody in my father's family cared about me. They didn't have any expectations for me. They didn't have any interest in me. So I wasn't really under their influence. So in that regard, like there was an advantage in being ignored, right? Uh, so it gave me a little bit of distance, some perspective. And also, I had some really good experiences. Living in Jamaica was very helpful because it was a very different kind of place from where my grandparents lived. And I guess the bottom line is I just never understood it. Just their racism, their misogyny, their homophobia, their meanness, their disdain for empathy and compassion. It just never made sense to me. Probably because I'm human. So I don't know if I learned it as much as it was just innate to me. And I think it's actually innate to most of us. Like it takes a lot of effort to kill that part of another person. But my grandfather was a sociopath. So that definitely puts you at a disadvantage. I mean, what's more shocking to me is that my dad continued to be a kind, empathetic, generous person. However, because he was much closer to all of it than I was, it killed him. So, yeah. But it is true. Kindness is strength. Compassion and empathy are essential to being human. And there are people like Charlie Kirk or Stephen Miller or JD Vance or people like that who Elon Musk who say out loud that empathy is not something that exists or that it isn't necessary. I mean, I'm sure I don't know about Elon Musk, maybe, but I'm pretty sure most of those people were given empathy and compassion and kindness. So, and I am pretty sure they would want it for their own children. But again, it's the rest of us they don't care about. Uh, Lizzie Beth, question. Please tell us what your family thought about your great grandfather and his time in the Yukon. I don't know because here's the thing. My great grandfather died when my grandfather, the sociopath, was 13 years old. So old enough to have significant memories of his father. He never talked about him ever. I know nothing at all about my great grandfather, despite the fact that my great grandmother lived like 2 blocks from my grandparents' house and was there all the time. I mean, she died when I was very little, but so I don't remember her. But I don't even think she mentioned her late husband to her grandchildren. I know nothing about him. Yeah, it's weird. Actually, I'm trying to there was a my grandfather was not comfortable in front of cameras, which is partially why he needed Donald to be the face of his company. Um, but they were at like I think it might have been the groundbreaking for Trump Tower. I don't know. So there was some press conference and somebody asked my grandfather about his dad's death. Because my grandfather died of the 1917 pandemic. How's that for irony? And my grandfather actually said this without any self-consciousness whatsoever. I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, It wasn't that big a deal. It wasn't until I saw how upset my mother was that I realized, like, he was 13, he wasn't 4. So it was a little chilling. I need to find that clip because it's really bad, but, instructive. Open Mind 1966. Question, Mary. How does Donald say the shooting at the Mormon temple in Michigan is, quote, an act against violence of American Christianity, but it's, unquote, but it's been proved the shooter was a Donald supporter? I don't know. I just heard about that. Another horrific shooting at a place of worship. I believe the building was also set on fire. And a shooter killed at least 2 people that I'm aware of. I don't know if we know anything. I mean, I guess, but if Donald is saying that it was an act of violence against American Christianity, that suggests to me he has information that the shooter was indeed ideologically aligned with him. So it's going to become about just the shooter doing this terrible thing, not the millions and millions of people who were participating in demonizing people. Uh, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But I mean, have we heard anything about the shooter in the Charlie Kirk assassination in the last week? No. I'm guessing it's because it wasn't as clear cut as they wanted us to believe it was. That's how you know. Joe, question. How can we find out what episode of Star Trek will be discussed on the next Trek Politics podcast? I almost always we let you know at the end of the episode. So for example, at the end of this episode, we announced that next week Bob and I will be discussing, oh great, I'm gonna forget now. Damn it. A next generation episode. I'll see if I can remember it. I'll think about it and I'll let you know. But we already announced it in the conclusion of the show that just aired yesterday. With Mike Sussman. Mike Sussman was our guest. Why can't I remember it? I can't remember anything. Maybe that's why. Philip, question. Did you know that today, September 28th, 1987, Star Trek The Next Generation premiered? I did not, but what a great day in history. Because The Next Generation is awesome. So awesome. Yeah, it's really great to have an excuse to watch episodes of Star. Hey, it's work. I have to. WGAS 420 question: how long before Donald runs out of ideas to cover up Epstein and the Epstein and Donald affair? Oh, he never will. There's always a war to be started, or an immigrant to detain, or a trans person to abuse. Yeah, he's got plenty of tricks up his sleeve and lots of help. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if they're shutting down the government just so Mike Johnson, 1, doesn't have to seat the new congresswoman who just got elected in a special election in Arizona, and 2, doesn't have to hold the vote to release the Epstein files. Philip, question. I keep wondering, why do conservatives complain that Star Trek is too woke? It's like they never understood the point of the franchise. Because they never understood the point of the franchise. Like, there are Republicans. Like, I think Ted Cruz is a Star Trek fan. Like, which version of Star Trek are you watching? Seriously. I mean, unless he only likes Star Trek because of the Romulans or something like that. I don't know. But it is mystifying. I mean, Bob and I have had that conversation for a long time. In fact, last year when we were in the panel of Star Trek Las Vegas, that was one of the talking points. It's like, what is it about Republican? Like, what draws Republicans to Star Trek? Star Trek is essentially, or the world of Star Trek, or after the post-apocalyptic horrors, humanity has learned its lessons, and it's essentially a socialist, anti-capitalist community that doesn't have currency, really, and everybody has everything they need and no more. And yeah, there's a hierarchy, but it's not a military hierarchy. It's just it's in place. It's an organizational principle, and it's based on exploration, not conquering, and learning about new cultures and bringing them into the United Federation of Planets, not to dominate them, but to learn from them and create a more multicultural society. It's like my fantasy. It's what America could have been if we had done the work, white people. I mean, let's hope it doesn't take post a lot. It doesn't take getting through the apocalyptic horrors. It would be nice to avoid that. Motley Pizer, question: Is Portland currently at war? Will we see Donald addressing the nation in combat fatigues at any point in his presidency? No. It's all fake and just generated nonsense. And no, I think what's much more likely is instead of Donald showing up in fatigues, everybody else is going to start wearing that hideous blue suit and that hideous white shirt and that hideous red tie. I don't know. Netanyahu was on the cover of some magazine. I don't remember which one. And he's wearing a blue suit jacket and a red tie. I was like, oh, we're just so doomed. Diane, thank you so very much for that. Comment, sleeping in my own bed fee. Well, that's good. Right? Sorry, I've been missing. Oh no, I was in the hospital for a few days. I'm okay. A routine procedure gone amok. Very glad to be back. Well, we're glad to have you back, and I'm really sorry about that, but I'm glad everything's okay. Yeah, that is not fair when it's supposed to be simple and there are complications and you end up. Yeah. Anyway, glad you're home and on the mend. Janice, I have a question, Mary. Question. What do you think would be the main turnaround for people to really be fed up with all this that's going on? Some people never will be. They never will be. And we have plenty of evidence that this is potentially the case. I think it's gonna have to start impacting them personally. And I think that's most likely going to be economically. And that's going to happen sooner rather than later. I mean, it was already going to, but with these new tariffs, what, like 100% tariffs on upholstered furniture? Okay. That's sane. Oh, and also meds and stuff. It's going to get very bad, especially if the government shuts down. Barbara, thanks for that, Barbara. This is an escalator repair fee. Alternative thought: break all of the escalators so he's got to walk up all of them. I'm just throwing stuff out. Susan gifted 5 Airtime Media memberships. Thank you so very much for that. It's great. Nanner gifted 5 Airtime Media memberships. That's awesome. Thanks to you as well. Joe is a new member. Thank you, Joe. It's great to have you here, as always. Susan, thank you very much again. Comment, missed a few lives, asking forgiveness. And it is granted, but there was no need to ask. We have other stuff to do. Seriously. Donna, thank you so very much, as always, for that question. Hi, Mary. How are you doing? This is keeping our sanity fee. I'm getting whiplash with all these crazy posts from Donald. Don't read them. Don't read them. Do not. They should come with a content warning, a trigger warning. Yeah, I know. We're all snowflakes. No, but seriously, they're the snowflakes, right? They can't. He's literally shutting down. He's ripping up the Constitution of the United States because they can't handle it when people are mean to him. But just because he's still free to rant and be delusional and insane on his failing social media platform doesn't mean you have to read any of it. Please don't. I'm fine. It just feels like there are no weekends anymore, which is kind of exhausting. Mary Pamela, question. Have you ever watched the show Downton Abbey? I saw the most recent movie on Tuesday, September 23rd, and really enjoyed it. I watched the first couple of seasons of Downton Abbey. I liked it at first, and then my interest waned. It's not really my kind of thing. I mean, I thought it was well done, but I just stopped watching it. I don't remember why, honestly. And I'm not entirely sure it's this kind of thing I would have watched, but I think maybe I started watching it during the pandemic, during lockdown. I'm not really sure, but I know people who absolutely love it. Like, will watch everything Downton Abbey, and yeah, the most recent movie. That's right. It's allegedly the last one. I wouldn't count on it, but yeah, if you didn't know about it and you like Downton Abbey, check it out. I love the cast. Very talented bunch of people. Bye to Cheryl. Hello, and thank you for gifting one Mary Trump Media membership. And yes, of course, the Mighty Cheryl twofer. Oh boy. 11 straight days of dog sitting is over, and today I spent 5 hours with the kitties at the couch shelter. I need sleep now. LOL. Yes, indeed. That's a lot. But well done. Well done. Darren. Hi, Mary. Hi. Question. Do you think Donald has become like Teddy Roosevelt? I would need more information. Um, my off the top of my head answer is no, because I'm not entirely sure in what respect. I mean, Teddy Roosevelt, not my favorite president, but not a maniac, colloquially speaking, of course. So yeah, if you want to get more specific, that would be awesome. Ghostly Air 59, thank you as always. Question. Hi, Mary. Hello. With how hard it is to truly connect these days, what helps you build a real bond? Deep conversation, shared experiences, simply spending time together, or something else? Um, for me, it's kind of a combination of all those things. Like I don't hang out with people and have shallow conversations. So, but I think it is actually getting together in person because between the pandemic and I sort of went into hiding for a couple of years. Like 2019, yes, in 1923. Wow, remarkably well preserved for somebody who's over 150. Let me try that again. In 2023 and 2024, I kind of went into hiding a little bit. So it is really important for me to connect to people in person because I didn't see people for a long time. So that's tremendously helpful. So when you do that, it's easier to have those conversations and it's easier to have shared experiences for sure. Especially since most of my closest friends are long distance. So whenever I can see them, it's really important. But also, I've realized in the last few months that how important it is to have an actual like this is an amazing community and I belong to other amazing communities, but having one where you live, with actual physical interactions with people who can, like, I don't know, drop off food if you're sick or visit or come over for dinner or whatever. Like that's really important. So I'm working on that too. Ginger, thank you very much. Ginger, comment. Thank you for keeping me sane and smiling. You're welcome. And I'm glad. Gene, question. Since Mary's a Trekkie, I've always wanted to know what the star date would be today. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I should, but I'm not that kind of Trekkie. Bob Seska would know, my co-host for Trek Politics. Mm-hmm. Totally. Now I feel like I've failed. I feel like my Trekkie designation is going to be revoked. Yeah, like I don't really know much about the classes of starships either. So, yeah. But I really love the shows. Mind to Cheryl, again, thank you. Question. If you could be part of another famous family, which family would you like to be a part of? No famous families. No. No, no. Mm-mm. Yeah, I actually can't think. I don't. Fame is of little of is of no interest to me, actually. Think about why. I grew up among you know, with a famous person, and it's like, if that's famous, then no. Like, if people admire that, then I want no part of this thing. So yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start, actually. I think there are people I admire who also happen to be famous because of the kind of work they do. Um, but again, like, this is what it was. I always say, like, unless I've actually met the person, I always say I admire their work because you never know. Somebody could be brilliant at what they do and be a terrible person. Of course, Donald sucks at everything, and he's still a terrible person, and he's still famous. But there are famous people who are, who gained their recognition because they are expert at what they do. Brilliant actors, brilliant writers, brilliant directors, what have you. That doesn't mean they're good people. So if I know for a fact that they are, that's a different story. I actually do have an answer to this question, but I'm going to keep it private, and maybe someday I'll tell you. What I will say though, when you do meet somebody whose work you admire and they turn out to be exactly the kind of person you would have hoped they are, that's kind of amazing. And I've been very lucky to have that happen a few times. Kendra is a super sticker. Thank you as always, Kendra. Shauna, thank you. Another super sticker. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Blonde bombshell. Let me try that again. Let me hydrate first. It's very hot in here. Perhaps because I forgot to turn on the air and I'm wearing a sweater. Who knows? Okay. Blonde bombsheller. That's kind of a mouthful for some reason. Bombsheller. Gifted 10 Meritro Media memberships. That is fantastic. Thank you so very much for that. Greg, thank you as always. That's excellent. Question: Has JD Vance heard about the tariffs on upholstered furniture? I hope so, because I think that's going to throw a wrench into things for him. J. Devad Vance, as Charlie Pierce calls him. Susan, thank you so much again. Comment. Next Trek Politics. There you go. See? Leave it to Susan. Next Trek Politics episode is Next Generation's The Drumhead. Yep. Thank you, Susan. I actually, when we were recording the outro for the episode, I kept referring to it as the drum beat. And Bob's like, no. I'm like, okay, fine. Sorry. Hang on one second. I need to check something out. Okay. I don't need to do that anymore. All right. Call me Little Sunshine. Okay. Comment. Went to Big E Fair today. Not much Doddle merch, so more of Charlie Kirk merch. Hashtag, I'm assuming that's just short for fuck. Right? I don't know what a Big E Fair is, but sorry there was any merch of that kind. But glad Donald's not, not doing so much, selling so much merch. Yeah, we need to turn that red hat into something that nobody would ever be caught dead wearing. Dad, thank you so very, very much. Question, comment, I guess. Mary talking truck. I think Star Trek is the most American thing ever made. It's a gift. You're a gift. And MAGA are the Borg. But only if the Borg only assimilated the Pakleds and Ferengi. Love you. Oh, yes, totally. That is so true. Wow. The Borg. That's it. That's it. And yet somebody like Ted Cruz probably thinks he's like a Klingon or Romulan. No. He's a Borg with a capitalist sense of a Ferengi. Thank you for that, Dan. GBW. Wow, thank you so much. That's seriously very generous of you and much appreciated. Hi, Mary. I'm having a milestone birthday on Tuesday, so here's $1 for every year of my life. In case I can't watch Mary Trump live that day, it won't let me round up 99 to the next whole number, but it's not quite my birthday yet. Thank you for keeping us safe. That is so cool, and thank you very much. Have an amazing. I'm gonna guess that means you're turning 50. Look at me mathing. Seriously, have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. Susan, again, gives you 5 Mary Trump Media memberships, which is awesome. Dorothy is a super sticker. Thank you so much, Dorothy. And finally, rotten potatoes. Are they mashed? Another super sticker. Thank you so much for that. Truly. Okay, guys. That does it for us tonight. Need to catch you up with a couple of things. First of all, thank you to everybody streaming on YouTube. Nope, watching on YouTube, streaming on Twitter, and the Goodness, our Substack. Please check out the Substack. We've got new content up there every single day. We stream the lives and then post the transcript of the lives, but also like I write articles too. So it's a little different, and it's a great community, and there's a little bit of overlap, but not a ton. And I think you guys would love it, and I think our Substack people would love it over here. So it's great when two worlds collide. So to all of our new members, to everybody gifting memberships, to all of our super stickers, everybody giving us donations, thank you truly. It's much appreciated, especially like YouTube's kind of kicking our asses lately. Not sure what is going on, but for those of you checking such things, like we're having a very difficult time moving the needle. So you guys truly help us out here. And it trust me, it is so appreciated. If you want to support us, literally the simplest thing to do is just subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost anything. We are trying to get to 500. It's just slow going and rough sledding. But we'll get there. And the second easiest way also doesn't cost you anything is to watch our pre-recorded videos. We have lives 6 days a week. This one and Mary Trump Live Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. But we have at least 2 videos dropping every single day of the week, including Saturdays and Sundays. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2. Watch them, like them, share them, and comment on them. Helps us tremendously, truly. And what else was I going to? Oh, right. On Friday night's live, I mentioned that merch is coming. Mary Trump Media merch is coming, and it was supposed to happen tonight, but there were some technical difficulties, as there often are when I'm in charge of things. So tomorrow, for sure, we will let our moderators know all about it, the URL. We're going to have mock-ups of all the merch tomorrow night so you guys can see, and then you'll have the URL so you can go visit the store. And I really think you're going to like it. We're going to continue to have more designs as we go. And, part of our paid subscriptions will be discounts to merch or free merch, depending on what level you join at. So, just between us, there might even be some mashed potato merch. Just saying. Finally, to our most amazing moderators, thank you so much for what you do. I know it's not always easy, and it is always appreciated. And to my amazing, incredible, extraordinary team, which tonight is Lexi. Thank you, Lexi. We're doing an amazing job as always. And that does it for us. I will be back tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern time for Mary Trump Live. In the meantime, everybody, please stay safe and be kind. Bye. And hydrate.